All right, welcome back to the channel. So Mike Tyson, a Hall of Famer, just came out recently yesterday of the Hall of Fame and says that somebody asked him, usually from Fight Hype, they asked him, who do you got the winner between Terence Crawford and Errolspence Jr.? He says he's picking Terence Crawford because he's the best guy in the welterweight division and the best fighter in the world. So I'm gonna break it down to y'all. Let's talk about it in this video. King Jr. got another video for y'all. Please sure that you like and subscribe to his channel, and also share the video to get all your latest boxing news. And remember to hit that bell icon to always stay notified as soon as I release the news. So let's get into this. Terence Crawford, Mike Tyson says that was asked about who do you have between the winner between Errolspence Jr. and Terence Crawford. He's picking Terence Crawford because he says Terence Crawford is simply the best guy in the world. And, you know, I can't disagree with Mike Tyson on this. Mike Tyson, his opinion, it's his thoughts. He has every right to pick and choose who he wants to win. And he's just picking Terence Crawford because he feels like that Terence Crawford is the better fighter. And I'm not going to disagree with him. Terence Crawford is a good fighter. He has all the intangibles in the world to be any top-tier fighter in multiple weight classes with his style. But in my opinion, I felt like Terence Crawford has slowed down in his career majorly. The Terence Crawford that I seen that was very versatile and dangerous at the time when he was utilizing orthodox and southpaw fluently was at 140 pounds. Since then, Terence Crawford has not been that same guy. And we got boxing pundits and all these Hall of Famers like Roy Jones, Tarver, and James Toney, Mike Tyson, all these Hall of Famers coming out and saying, picking that Errolspence Jr. is not going to be able to defeat Terence Crawford because of the car accident. And even James Toney, I forgot to mention this earlier in my video I did this morning, he says that Errolspence will be lucky if he goes 6 rounds with Crawford. Absolutely, that's a dumbass question from James Toney. Errolspence Jr., even on his hardest fight within Sean Porter, he has gone 6 rounds with one of the best fighters in the world with Sean Porter at that time. And I'm sure he'll go 6 rounds with Errolspence Jr., no problem. And, you know, this makes for this, well, Terence Crawford and Errolspence Jr. make up for 50% each for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. And I cannot wait for this fight to happen. I'm picking Errolspence Jr. because I'm man down. I ride with Errolspence Jr. since the beginning, and I'm going to ride with Errolspence Jr. to the end. And I'm picking man down all day to beat Terence Crawford. I will be breaking this down eventually when this fight does get official, and I will start to break down styles and how I look at the fight. And we're going to get into more specific details on why I think Errolspence Jr. beats Terence Crawford, and why I think Errolspence Jr. is the best fighter in the world against Terence Crawford. And not to take anything away from Terence Crawford, like I said before, Terence Crawford has all the intangibles to beat Errolspence Jr. Errolspence Jr. has all the intangibles to beat Terence Crawford. In my opinion, I think that Errolspence Jr.'s fundamentals are way better than Terence Crawford, because the fundamentals from 140, if that version of 140 from Terence Crawford stayed with Errolspence Jr., stayed from 140 to 147, I would definitely pick Terence Crawford to beat Errolspence Jr. because that was a completely different Terence Crawford when he was at 140 pounds. But now Terence Crawford, I see him now, and that's just not the same guy at the end of the day from 140 to 147. So it's just my opinion at the end of the day. I'm still speculating. I'm picking Errolspence Jr. because, like I said before, style makes fights. And we know that Floyd Mayweather was another Hall of Famer that says that Terence Crawford is going to beat Errolspence Jr. because Terence Crawford is just too versatile, whatever the case may be. We all know why Floyd picking Terence Crawford, because he really wants to sign Terence Crawford, because Floyd Mayweather, you know how he wants to steal the limelight and try to get the outshine, just like he's trying to outshine his fighter, Gervonta Tank Davis, and steal all the limelight. So he's just trying to get Crawford so he can basically have that limelight. Everybody see, oh, it's Floyd Mayweather, it's Floyd Mayweather. So with that being said, I respect Mike Tyson's opinion. I got no beef with Mike Tyson. I always respect him as a fighter, but sometimes Mike Tyson can be biased towards fighters as well. But this is just his honest opinion. He's picking Terence Crawford. So Mike Tyson, if you're riding with Terence Crawford, ride with Terence Crawford. Don't sit here and come out when the fight's over and switch up your tune and say, oh, I was wrong about Terence Crawford. I really like Errolspence Jr. Don't be doing that, Mike Tyson. So keep that same energy. You gonna ride with Crawford? Ride with Crawford. I'm riding with man down, and it's man down all day. So with that being said, guys, it is what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This is your boy King Jr. I'm out of here. Peace.